Okay,
She might not.
it is 6:30. Be respectful of everybody's time. We're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you all for being here today. Do we have anybody joining us online, Anna?
Not yet.
Not yet, okay. Going to call this meeting to order. It doesn't look like we have enough people quite yet to do the approval of the agenda or the minutes, so we'll go on to staff reports. Wichita Fire Department.
Good evening. My name is Lieutenant Gonzalez, currently assigned to Fire Station number 3 at 32nd and Broadway. Everybody have a good 4th of July and celebrating your independence. Having worked 3 of the 4 days that we actually operations went out and patrolled from midnight to 1 o'clock, I did not see that many people shooting fireworks off. There were some, but in our area, I did not see very many. Of course, by the time you get there, they're gone. So we did issue 34 citations. Our special enforcement team did to individuals for either illegal fireworks or out of hours fireworks. So it's that. Our fire investigative unit has hold on. Please help me. They've investigated 30 fire scenes between May 20th and June 20th. The result of those were estimated damage of $305,000. We're seeing an uptick in abandoned structures. We had 7 vacant structure fires during that time frame, and a lot of them result of squatters. So in DAB 6 area, we had 4 fires. One was an attempt suicide. The other 3 were dumpsters all on the same day. So obviously somebody had went around and set those on fire. This isn't in the city, but we first responded to the Evergreen pallet fire. We were the first ones on scene. When we got there, the pile was probably 200 feet long by 100 feet wide and 30 feet tall. And it was 30% involved at that point. That used a lot of resources, not only the city, but eventually the county took over because it's on their property. It's in Park City. That was a huge, that's not the first time we've had fires there. It's about the 4th time we've had.
There was one like kind of recently, right? That's there also.
Yes. Yeah. So that's a continued issue we have, even though it's not city property, city resources respond to it. We got most recently on June 20th and 21st, we had a first annual kids summer camp. The camp was filled within the first 24 hours. There was 2 different days. There's something for children 8 to 13 that we can get them into seeing what it's like to be a firefighter. I heard it was a huge success. I didn't get to attend it, but from what I can tell, it was a very, very good place to be. So, okay, before I close, I don't know if any of you got these little sheets here. There might be some at the front there, but it talks about closing your door when you go to sleep. Carbon monoxide kills people inside house fires, not generally the flames. If you leave your door open, you're subjected to 10,000 parts per million CO. If you keep your door shut, it's down to 100. So I encourage people to sleep with their doors shut. Most of the time, fires happen between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m. Also encourage you to have an active smoke alarm. Make sure you change your batteries and test it regularly. I'll open it up to any questions if anybody has any. Yes, sir.
This may not be a fair one for you. I was sitting at Wendy's the other day at 21st and
Coolidge?
yeah, Coolidge. And an alarm went off, obviously, and the fire truck came through. And I couldn't tell whether they had activated the stoplight or not.
They did not.
Okay.
They did not.
That switching took place.
We have, it's, unless it has an annunciator where here's the sirens. You know, sometimes downtown they have those. We have a button on our station 3. If we push it, there's a light there on Broadway that'll stop cars. But they do not. I was stationed there at that station and they do not have that.
Really?
No.
Well, that's pretty dangerous for the fire truck.
It's a weird intersection, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's offset. So
That one of the requirements when they had that?
It was something that came up in the discussion when the car wash was going in. I'm not clear what happened.
That's true.
I don't know, I'll follow up on it, because
Thank
that's
you for
been
volunteering.
asked, that's been asked
Completely
several
island on
times.
21st.
Say that again?
Completely island, or that
Oh,
island
mhm.
means and stops.
Yeah, and the construction for 21st Street between Amidon and Kansas should be starting sometime this month. And then the 25th will be started also, and then they'll come back and do the second phase, I think in September or October. I was like, just please don't do it at the same time. So,
Thank you for fielding that question.
yeah, I'll find out.
Sir?
Question about the fires started by squatters. Do we know if it's the same folks starting fires each time or is there no?
I don't even know that answer. More than likely not. You know, they're in there, they're trying to either cook something, it's winter months, trying to stay warm. They're burning whatever they can burn, whether it be a couch or a chair or whatever. So, you know, they'll burn the cabinets, they'll take doors off the cabinets and burn.
I mean, it would be in this office, it's a bigger, it's cooking.
Becoming more and more of a problem.
Hot steam, like hot plates or something, I might say. So people trying to cook over. Thank
See,
On the,
Any other
on
questions?
the Evergreen fire, does the business owner have any responsibility there? I mean, you mentioned there are multiple fires that have happened there. Is there? That's a question that. is better
I think you might want to ask Brad Chris that question. He might have more, he obviously has more answers. Anyone else? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, can I ask one more question? Sorry, do you know how many citations were given out last year by chance? I'm just curious.
And I believe it was in the range of 20.
I'm just curious. Okay, cool, thank you. Okay, Wichita Police Department. Thank you guys so much for coming. Thank you.
Good evening, Officer Parmesan, Wichita Police Department, Joe West, Community Policing Officer 1213B. So for the crime statistic, it's month-to-month comparison, this is from May to June, and then June, to July. Part one, violent crime, which consists of homicide rate, robbery, aggravated assault, has gone down 22%. Part one, property crime, which consists of burglary, larceny from auto theft, that has gone up 40%. And the reason why burglary and larceny has gone up to the hot summer month, a lot of people leave their window open or the door open, garage open, another thing where people go to sleep and got the garage is open and people will go in the garage and take stuff. And also in your cars, if you have it's like garage opening your car and they see that, they can break the window and open the garage door opener and go in your garage that way. So just keep in mind, you do have one that's available, just try to put it up or put it in the glove compartment, something like that. Also, we do have Second Chance Thursday that's coming up here, July 11, which is this Thursday. You guys don't know what Second Chance Thursday is. It's basically DMV, municipal court, Wichita Police Department, and Next Step will be there. Next Step is, it's a citizen who are currently on patrol and they assist with education and job opportunity. So what Second Chance Thursday does is anybody that has warrant or think you have warrant, you can come down there. It's gonna be at 2820 South Roosevelt from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. It's gonna be in the gym. So if you think or you have traffic warrants, environment court warrants, anything like that, you come there and what the Wichita Police Department is, they will give you basically a court date. That way you don't have a warrant. It's better than getting stopped by one of us. And if you have a warrant, then you could end up in jail. You get stopped on a traffic stop and we run your name, if you have any kind of warrant, then we would have to impound your car or, you know, just much more of a hassle. So this way, you can come down there, we'll give you a court date, and you won't have no warrant, just make sure you go to that court date. And then what the DMV does is also is, if you have suspended driver's license or any kind of license violation, or don't have a license, they can actually give you a license there. So we've seen where some people that hadn't had a license for, you know, a very long time, they don't know why, they go there, get their warrant taken care of, and they get the driver's license. So that picture out, a paper driver's license, they actually have a camera there with a picture and everything like that. It's a very good opportunity to go. So it's July 11th, 2820 South Roosevelt, which is Colvin Elementary School. So other than that, that's all I have. You guys, anybody got any questions? Yes, sir.
The statistics that you gave us right at the beginning, is that from last month or the period last?
It's gonna be from May to June and June to July.
Okay,
So we compare from May to June. And then that comparison will be towards this month. From June. So,
any idea how they compare to the same period last year?
From last year, hang on. We have a 29-day, and then we also have a last year, let me see, from year to year, year versus year last year. Part 1 crime is down 7%. And then Part 1 property crime was down 9%. So that's comparison from year to year. So, but that's from month to month. So. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
Would you explain a little more about the Next Step program?
Okay, so Next Step program is, it's a billion one. I don't know if it's doing the government one, but what they do is, if you're on parole, they're trying to get parolees a job opportunity, education, it's free education, they give them free education. So you come and you talk to, you know, anyone that's on parole, they don't even have to go, you know, if they don't have any warrants, and if they want a job or they want a education, the Next Step will pay for their education and then help them find a job. So basically, they're helping them out to.
So there's someone there from that they'll help them enroll in that.
Yeah. So there will be someone there with us, they all have a booth, and they will have somebody there say, hey, what are you looking for? I want to go to welding, and they'll be going to a welding school. And then once they graduate, they get a job, or hey, I'm looking for a job in this kind of field, then they'll help them find a place. So they'll help all parolee or anybody that has anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
Next Step is a partnership with Goodwill Industries
Uh-huh.
and WSU Tech.
Thanks.
yeah, but
I know there was, quite a few, break-ins over in the River Trail Village. Did you guys ever find out anything?
we're still investigating that. We
Okay.
don't know if it's homeless, we don't know if it's just, it's still an investigation. So we will still look into that, so I can't really answer.
No, that's
I
fine.
know the homeless outreach team went out there and they try to see this in the campsite, because in the past, what happened was there was a campsite all over the area. So what we ended up doing is we went and stick all those campsites and got rid of those campsites. And then they cut down on the burglary for a while,
Mhm.
so we don't know if they came back. So that's what we're trying to do now, is trying to go out there down the river and see if we can find a campsite, or is it just someone else? So
Okay,
we're trying to look at videos, and so it's still an investigation, so we're still looking.
Maggie, where was that?
it's the new development that's, adjacent to, Sim Golf Course, the patio homes over there.
My news.
Yeah, it's right next to the river.
Mhm.
So there's a trail there where people walk.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Hello, I'm Officer Soto. I'm out of Patrol North. I am DP officer for beats 48 and 49. And really, the only thing I want to talk about is we just started getting back our daily reports. I think not the Thursday before, but the Thursday before that. So we're starting to know a little bit more about what kind of activities going on all the beats. And I think just today, our crime statistics came back up. So we're able to do those. I was off today, so I haven't had a chance to really look at them yet. But I did want to talk about, there were some burglaries over in North Riverside, from May 21st over to June 22nd. There were 2 actual burglaries and 2 attempt burglaries. we are waiting on, some prints and DNA on those. Which I'll probably check in on that tomorrow since I was off today. The other thing was we did run a traffic trailer to do a traffic study over in the area of 53rd and Armstrong. I don't know if anyone's seen it out there or not. But it looks like email here. There was about 64,000 vehicles that were measured between May 29th to June 4th. 31,000 were going westbound, 32 eastbound. 85th percentile, which means if you look at 85% of those vehicles, they were going 43 miles or below for westbound traffic, 44 miles or below for the eastbound traffic. The highest recorded overall speed was 115 miles an hour for eastbound. But you don't know if that's a police officer, firefighter, ambulance, or somebody just hauling butt up there. So 89 was for the westbound. So speeds greater than 20 miles over the posted speed limit, which was 40. There was 11 for westbound, and 50 for eastbound.
This is on 53rd Street?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
So I opened up a speeding complaint up there. I sent it over to our traffic section, so the guys that run radar on the motorcycles, and I've been sitting up off there as well. So, any questions for me?
That was 53rd Street where?
The trailer was set up on Armstrong, but it's from Arkansas all the way to Meridian, which is the focus. So,
Questions?
yes, sir.
Can you tell us where those two burglaries took place?
Yeah, they were on the 1400 block of North Salina specifically.
Say Salina?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Did I see one of those know your speed limit near Benjamin Hills on 21st Street also recently? And why is that out?
Yeah, they must have gotten a complaint over there and they set it up to, what it does is it gives us numbers to see if there is speeding issues over there. So whatever those statistics are, somebody from Patrol West should have those.
Just curious.
Over on Benjamin or Bollinger, Heisen, one of those streets had reached out to me about speeding. And so I sent it to the traffic engineers and they worked their magic to get
Excellent.
the counter thing there. So I haven't gotten the results of that yet, but yes.
Anyone else? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
for coming in on your day.
Yeah.
Okay. Public library report.
Okay.
My name is Amy Ethan and I'm the branch manager here at the Evergreen Branch Library. One of the folks in the audience asked whether the library was back online again after the cyber event. And we are pretty much online. If you look at your library account online, if you see something that says it's still checked out to you, but you're pretty sure you brought it back, just give us a call and we'll check. We found hundreds of items here on our shelves that didn't actually get checked in during that time. So we're still doing some cleanup. But just bring it to our attention and we'll get that off of your account. A new Library of Things item that launched today, blood pressure monitors. If you have been advised that you have high blood pressure or you need to monitor it, right now we have 5 blood pressure monitors that can be checked out with your Wichita Public Library card. I'll be meeting with some folks later this week to see about getting another 5 that would be assigned here to Evergreen for checkout.
Are those finger, wrist, shoulder, just
On-
regular cuffs?
on- I didn't get a chance to see it. One came in on hold for a customer today, and I did not get a chance to actually take a look at it, but it's upper arm.
I noticed that in Newton, you can check out a fishing pole.
Yeah. And there are libraries in the state that check out those fancy cake pans. If you need to make a fancy cake for your grandchild's birthday, those are very expensive. And, you don't need that Thomas the Tank Engine cake pan very many times. So that's the most recent thing on the library of things. Summer reading program is still going on. Programs here at Evergreen slowing down towards the end of the month. We have our bilingual preschool story time. That's every Thursday morning at 10:30 through the end of July. Then we take a break in August and don't have any programs. We also have tomorrow here in this room, Curious Circus, which is a young lady from Oklahoma, and she'll be juggling, doing contortions, balancing act, and whatever else you can do. I don't think you can juggle very high in here. And then at the end of the month, Friday, July 26th, Uno Dos Tres Andres, which is a Grammy Award-winning duo. They do children's music. They've won a Grammy for Best Children's Album. Sorry, I don't know what year. But that's an interactive show in both Spanish and English, and that'll be here Friday, July the 26th. And starting today, local authors can sign up for Local Author Day at the Advanced Learning Library. We've been doing it for a number of years. If you're a local author, if you know someone who's written and published a book, whether it's self-published or whatever, they can go to our website and register. I think they'll accept up to maybe 200 people. Everyone gets a table. You can sell your books, and hundreds of people will come in and visit with you. And that Local Author Day is Saturday, August the 10th. It's always a really big day. The authors' slots always fill up really quickly. So if you know somebody, tell them the signups went live today to sign up to have a table at Local Author Day. And I think that was all I wanted to mention today. Any questions?
Any questions for you? Sure.
On the blood pressure cuffs, how long can you check those out?
Those are 14-day checkouts. And as long as there's no holds, you can renew them. And then they just launched, so I don't know that the word has gotten out yet that we have them. Right? Mhm.
How's the mobile library doing?
I'm sorry?
How's the mobile library doing?
Oh, the truck, the book bus?
Yes.
As far as I know, it's doing great. Unfortunately, I have not spoken with Racine about it in a while, but I do see that she visits a number of different places on a regular schedule. And
Seen her twice in the last, 5 or 6 weeks.
you've seen her more than I have, Tom.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her at all. But if you, she does get around all the places she stops at will be listed on our events page. So just like the library program, you can find where the book bus is going to be next. I know she and some of our outreach librarians have been to a number of the outdoor events. The ones whose names I've now forgotten, but all the fiestas and Riverfest and all of that. So she's always there, and it's always a big hit.
Awesome, thank you. I appreciate it.
We can go ahead. Councilmember Ballard, do we want to go back and approve the agenda in the minutes since we do have a forum with enough board members?
Is there a motion to approve the agenda for July 8th, 2024?
Mrs. Scott, so moved.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Was that Josh who seconded?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Is there a motion for the approval of the minutes of June 10th, 2024?
Yeah, so moved.
With the motion,
Seconded.
Sergio with the second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, we can go ahead and move over to our public agenda. There are no scheduled items. Do we have anybody as part of the public who would like to speak on any agenda that is not on our agenda today? All right, we have 2 members. If one of you guys want to step up, you guys do have a time limit of 5 minutes. Go ahead. If you want to state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is William Leroy Glander. I live at 235 North Elizabeth, Wichita, Kansas. On June 10th, the 6-month-old duplex at 247 North Elizabeth was purchased by Suzanne and Johnson Winslow from Tumacula, I can't pronunciate it, Tumacula, California, for $283,300. Sorry, that's a lot of money for a house in historic Delano. That's very much. Basically, we did a thing, we had over 30% against the rezoning the duplex, and it got administratively approved behind closed doors, basically, is what I'm gonna call it. And now the house is still vacant. It's an eyesore, it's the sore for swatters and all that. And it helped out another person that remodeled a house sell for $250,000. It's a historic neighborhood. Houses shouldn't sell that much. And then you want to talk about affordable housing. How's that helping anything be affordable when you build a duplex like that and it drives the market up? But I gotta say, thanks to some of the people that I've spoken of here, they helped me be able to dispute some things whenever my taxes went up. So that was a good purpose. But this is the one thing that I'm going to constantly fight. We don't need duplexes and single family homes. Thank you. Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker, you have 5 minutes. If you want to state your name.
Hopefully, I won't take that long.
Okay.
My name is Terry McMillan. I live at 4729 North Sullivan. And Maggie, basically, I don't know if this is the right spot to bring this up or not. I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, we listened to a report on the new parking downtown. And shame on me for not having stood up and said, I don't think that's a great plan. But my wife and her friend went to a quilt show about 2 weeks ago, and they tried to use the new system.
At Century 2.
Yes, and they could not get it done.
Okay.
So they came home with a citation. And that now I went online, like it said, and fought it. And to their credit, with my explanation of what happened, they canceled the citation. So I credit the company for that. And then I have another friend, he didn't get a citation, but he couldn't get up to work either. So I only bring this up to say there's a problem of some kind. Now, my wife is not a young person, and neither was her friend, but they're reasonably technologically sound. The other fella is middle-aged, very technologically sound. He couldn't get it done either. So I think there's something that needs to be looked into related to this all new exciting parking system that's been put in place.
I would just say thank you for letting us know. Sometimes people just talks amongst themselves or just on Facebook, and sometimes we don't see that stuff. So I appreciate you bringing it to our attention. I know there's going to be a huge learning curve. My dad's never going to put his debit card on an app on his phone. It's just never going to happen.
Me neither.
Right. So he's probably the only person that has a change coin purse that I know, but there is a huge, going to be a huge learning curve, and I don't want any hiccups or bugs or whatever to discourage people from going downtown, first of all. You know, or anything like that. So I will, I know exactly what you're talking about. So when people do take the time to tell us, it just helps me tell the story better that, hey, there's some serious problems. I mean, maybe we need to have people out there to answer questions for the next 6 months.
They looked for some people.
Yeah.
There was nobody that could help them. And I've not gone and tried to use it. What I understood was they had to use their camera to,
The QR code.
with the QR code, and then they wanted them to put in a credit card. Now, I don't know what it wanted because I wasn't there.
Mhm.
But my wife and I do not carry a credit card or cash on our phone.
Mhm.
And so if that's how it has to operate, that's a problem for a lot of people that don't do that.
No, I understand, and part of the conversations that we've been having is that, some of the council members, this was before the new council came on, were adamant that we needed some type of hybrid, so we need to be able to offer the QR code and something that takes change, whether that's a kiosk and you just put in the number. I mean, we don't need to reinvent the wheel, there's plenty of other cities that are already doing this, but we need to do some type of hybrid because it will be so new to our city, so.
I think that is a good option,
Yeah.
is some sort of hybrid.
So I super appreciate it and I'll definitely take it back.
Okay.
Thank you.
How long has that system been in place? Years?
No,
No.
less than a year,
Yeah.
yeah. So far right now, it's just Center Two, but
Expanding?
it will, around the first.
And I can ditto what he said. My mom and I went to music theater and there's no way my mom could go to music theater alone. Because she will never have the wherewithal to be able to figure something like that out. So it'll be detrimental to
Yeah.
older patrons that want to go to events down there. Yeah, exactly.
Piggybacking off them, I'm just like your dad. I don't like putting my debit card or anything like that
Yeah,
on any kind of app.
I appreciate all of the,
My mom's problem is she wouldn't even know how to get to the app. So, I mean, you just, yeah.
any other questions? Anybody else for the public agenda? Okay, we're gonna move on to new business. First case is zoning 2024-00028.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Ederly, Senior Planner for MEP. This first case that we're going to look at is ZON 2024-00028. For this case, the applicant is requesting a zone change from SF5 single-family residential to TF3 two-family residential. It's a 0.29 acre property. It's located within 2 blocks south of West Central Avenue and within 2 blocks west of Northwest Street. Right now, concurrently with this case, a lot split is occurring. It's being reviewed by our staff to create, excuse me, the subject site is parcel B of lot 8, block 7 of Park Wild Edition. Parcel A of lot 7 is addressed as 516 North Tracy Street. It's zoned SF5 and is developed with a single family dwelling. That is not changing. The only thing that will be changing is that the applicant is requesting the zone change for parcel B. And if approved, it would permit 1 duplex to be developed on that parcel. The lot split included lands that fronts North Tracy Street in order to provide access to parcel B. So that will require necessary easements to ensure that access to utilities is available. Should the zone change request be approved, there will be no change in setbacks, parking requirements, or maximum height. Where the SF5 requires 5,000 square foot minimum lot size, TF3 requires 3,000 square feet per dwelling unit. So 6,000 square feet per for 1 duplex. And so based on the size of the subject site, the applicant would be able to place 1 duplex. Character of the neighborhood is residential. Properties to the northeast and south and west are zoned SF5 and are developed with single family dwellings. Property to the northeast is zoned TF3, split into multiple parcels and developed with 1 duplex on each parcel. Within 1 block south of the subject site, there is a large contiguous area of TF3 zoning developed with a mixture of single family and duplex dwellings. As you can see, this is all yellow is all TF3 zoned. So that's where duplexes would be allowed by right. little bit of case history, this subject site was platted in 1887 as part of the Park Wild Addition, and there are no other zoning cases associated with the site. The subject site does currently have access to North Tracy Street, which is a two-way paved local street with no sidewalks on either side. Municipal services are available to the site, such as water and sewer. New service lines will need to be extended from the water and sewer mains to the proposed duplex. And Wichita Transit is within 2 blocks to the north with bus stops along West Central Avenue, and within 2 blocks to the east with bus stops along Northwest Street. The requested zone change is in conformance with the Community Investments Plan. The 2035 Future Growth Concept Map recommends the subject site is appropriate for residential uses. The plan defines residential as areas that reflect the full diversity of residential development densities and types typically found in a large municipality. So duplex development is an appropriate use for this area. Under the heading of development patterns, location guideline 2.A encourages infill development that maximizes public investment in existing and planned infrastructure and services. And then also the requested zone changes in conformance with the goals of the Wichita Places for People Plan. This duplex development partially aligns with Strategy 5 that provides a diversity of housing options to attract new residents and allow existing residents to remain in the established central area. The scale of the request is not out of character with the neighborhood, with multifamily uses directly to the west. And the request aligns with Strategy 6 of the Wichita Places for People Plan, encourage infill and redevelopment that is contextual to the environment in which it is occurring. Again, adding a duplex to the neighborhood will not adversely affect the area. Duplex development is contextual given the duplex development to the northeast and within 1 block to the south. Anna, if we can go to site pics. So I don't know, so this is, you can scroll just a little bit more down, or I'm sorry, I need to see which direction we're looking, there we go. Yeah, sorry about that. So this is not my case, so I didn't take these pictures and I don't know but we're looking east toward the site there and then looking east at the property south of the site and then looking east at the property north of the site. And if we scroll down, this is looking west away from the site, and I think we have one more where we're looking northwest from the site. I think that might be all, but. Yeah. So based off of information that we have, planning staff does recommend that the request be approved. This recommendation is based on the rules, and I can stand for any questions.
So with the, I have asked this before on these, and I'm probably gonna use the wrong term. I call them shotgun lots. They're so long and narrow.
Sure.
When a duplex is put on one of those, by the time there's a drive put in to be able to access the second unit, does it still provide sufficient square footage for usage of the lot?
Sure. So they do have to conform to the setbacks that are in the UZC, which includes parking, off-street parking. So when it comes time to develop, they'll have to produce building plans that the MABCD will review, and they'll have to meet all of those requirements. So I don't know exactly what the dimensions of that lot are. It looks like it's very long and skinny. But as long as they meet all of the setback requirements, we have no problem. That is planning and zoning.
Questions from the dad? Questions from the public? Moving back to the dad, we'd like to entertain a motion.
To approve based off staff recommendation.
I'd like to suggest a modification to that motion.
Okay,
to include, an overlay that stipulates that it be restricted to gable roof or hip roof.
Compliant with the neighborhood, like we always done,
Yeah.
sure, the Washburn rule.
I already had it written down. I already had it written down.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay.
8-0.
Okay, moving on to PUD 2024-0011.
Yes, thank you again, Brad Otherly, Senior Planner, MAPD. Bear with me on this one because there was a lot of information that's pertinent to the case. This is case PUD 2024-00011. For this case, the applicant is requesting a zone change from SF5 Single Family Residential District to PUD Planned Unit Development to create the Esparza Addition Planned Unit Development, which is PUD number 130. The subject site is 3.35 acres in size and is generally located between North Charles Avenue and North Amidon Avenue. And it's within 320 feet north of West 31st Street North. The address is 3258 North Charles. The subject site is currently developed as a single-family dwelling on North Charles Avenue, and the other portion of the property is undeveloped land along North Amidon Avenue. As you can see, this is where the single-family dwelling is, and then this is the undeveloped area.
Amidon to the right.
This is Amidon and North Charles in between. Yep. So the applicant is requesting the zone change in order to permit single-family residential on PUD parcel 3, which if you can scroll down to the, I'm gonna be asking a lot of you on this one. I think actually scroll up to the site plan. Yeah, right there. Okay, so they're proposing to have 3 parcels for the PUD, parcel 1, parcel 2, and parcel 3. So for parcel 3, single family residential, and then on parcel 1, office and warehouse, and then on parcel 2, duplexes. Parcel 3 is currently developed with that single family dwelling that we've already talked about. And then parcel 1 is proposed to be developed with an office warehouse building with the following proposed permitted uses: community assembly, daycare center, general and limited daycare center, construction, sales and service, monument sales, nursery and garden centers. General office, warehousing, and wholesaler business services. And then parcel 2 is proposed to be developed with duplexes, with all uses permitted by right in the TF3 two-family residential district. The buildings within parcel 2 shall be residential in character with a hipped or gabled roof and residential siding materials, so they each all to it. Public access to the site is from North Amidon Avenue, with private access from the extended driveway. If you can go back to the aerial, I can give it to you.
You can point with that one, the green button, you can point, so it's a pointer.
Okay.
And then I'll
You'll
still,
scroll.
yeah.
Okay, so scroll back down to the aerial. Yep. So they've already got a driveway that's been constructed. This would also serve as private entrance to the parcel 1 for the office warehouse. If I could use the green one.
Is there already a curb cut on the Amidon side? Seems like I drive by that a lot.
I'm not 100% sure. It doesn't look like it from this aerial, but I did take some pictures. We can take a look at those. And they're not great because I was driving. It's kind of hard to take pictures sometimes from certain sites, but we'll see if we can see anything. We talked about public access and then the private access through the single family residence driveway. Commercial vehicle access to parcel 1, which is where the office warehouse is gonna be, is off of Amidon. Losing my place. And development standards for the OW office warehouse district would be applied to parcel 1. And then development standards for the TF3 district would be applied to parcel 2. development standards for the SF5 district would be applied to parcel 3. There is one caveat to that. At MAPC, it was recommended to bring the height restrictions for the OW district for what's going to be the office warehouse. Typically, it's 45 feet. It was requested to take it down to 35 feet, which is also what is allowed in the SF5 district. And the applicants were amenable to that. So we're working to make that change. Signs in parcel 2 shall conform to the Wichita sign code for the TF3 district. Again, that's where the duplexes would be. Signs in parcel 3, which is this parcel, shall conform to the SF5 district. And then future development of parcel 1 shall conform to the Wichita landscape. So they do not mention signage in parcel 3, which is that top. Now, one other aspect is that the west line of parcel 1, adjacent to the northeast corner of parcel 3, so right here, would be subject to be landscaped at a rate of 1.5 times the standard. The proposed PUD language does not indicate any required screening for parcel 1 because the uses on parcel 1 are proposed to be commercial that are abutting and adjacent to residential uses in zoning districts. Staff does recommend that the PUD text be modified to require a minimum of a 6-foot screening fence along the southwest and north boundary lines of parcel 1. So that would be the southwest and north boundaries. So southwest and north boundaries here.
Well, if I understood what you just said, the south boundary is not shown in the green line.
No, you're actually right. It would be like right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of split in the middle. So the character of the neighborhood is mostly residential. The subject site is surrounded by SF5 single-family residential district on all sides. Property to the north of parcel 3 is undeveloped right here. While property to the north of parcel 1 is developed with the church and the parking lot for the church. Properties to the east across North Amidon are developed with single-family dwellings. Properties to the south are developed with single-family dwellings, and properties to the west across North Charles Avenue are developed with single-family dwellings. Case history: on December 2nd, 2021, the site was platted as part of the Esparza addition, and there have been no other zoning cases associated with the property. Subject site does have access to North Charles Avenue through the paved 2-lane local street without sidewalks, and North Amidon Avenue, a 4-lane arterial street with sidewalks on the east side. City services do serve the site. Wichita Transit provides service at the southwest corner of West 29th Street North and North Amidon Avenue, which is about 1/3 of a mile away from the subject site. We can go to the future growth map. Should be down. Zoning, future growth. So the requested zone change is in partial conformance with the community investments plan. 2035 future growth concept map recommends the subject site is appropriate for residential use. And while the residential aspects of the proposed PUD align with the future growth map, the proposed uses for parcel 1, which is where the office warehouse is going to be, do not comply with the plan. The locational guidelines of the community investment plans under the heading of development pattern, guideline 2A does encourage infill development that maximizes public investment in existing and planned infrastructure and services. Under the heading land use compatibility, guideline 1A states higher intensity development should be discouraged from locating in areas of lower intensity development, particularly established low density residential. And then locational guideline 3A states, except in mixed use developments, residential and non-residential development areas generally should be separate and distinct with appropriate screening and buffering to ensure compatibility among land uses while maintaining connectivity among uses. So the proposed uses for parcel one comply with development pattern locational guidelines. The proposed uses for parcel one is in partial conformance with the land use compatibility locational guidelines. Because it's a higher intensity use, being proposed to be located in a lower intensity area. However, the uses directly north are non-residential, and the staff recommended PUD language provides for proper screening and buffering to ensure land use compatibility. We can go to the site pics, should be down. So this is looking east towards the site from, what was it, north? Rachel? Charles, sorry. I'm out of whack. So this is from North Charles looking into that private drive with the single family house kind of on the side. This foreground of the property is not part of the PUD, but everything beyond the fence is. That's where the general office warehouse is going to be, and then maybe over here, kind of some of the duplexes. And then this is looking southeast into parcel 3. And then if you scroll down, this is looking north away from the site. So we're basically standing on the driveway, that private driveway from Charles, coming off of Charles, looking north. And then this is looking across North Charles, west. Neighbors. Yeah, so this is looking south from that private drive. So that's North Charles, and then this is from North Amadon. This is kind of trying to show where the duplexes are, and then further where the general office area is going to be. And then it looks like maybe they have already had some sort of access coming off of North Amadon. They would have to work with Public Works to get any kind of curb cut that goes in there as well, so. Based off of the information available at the time of the public hearing, staff does recommend approval of the application subject to the provisions of the Esparza Addition Plan Unit Development for PUD number 130 and subject to the conditions listed in the staff report. This recommendation is based off of the golden rules. Staff did receive a few comments from the public, and those are attached in the staff report. So you should have those in front of you. Mostly concerned about the commercial aspect of the proposal, being in a single family residential area. With that, I can stand for any questions, and I do believe the agent for the applicant is here as well.
Any questions from the dad? Yes, Mark.
Do we have any idea how long those vacant areas have been undeveloped?
I don't have any knowledge of the history of those vacant properties. It's very possible that they've never been developed.
We have a number on the duplexes.
I don't, it would be limited to what would be allowed by density.
Yes.
My question is probably more for the applicant, but I think one question that's coming up for me is the impact of the proposed development on community facilities of the allowed options. For, where is it, office warehouse? Is there one that is more likely than the others? And I think that's sort of, which, if there is an answer thus far, I think that might answer.
You want me to speak to that? Sure. Okay.
My name's Eric Glover. I'm with Garver. I'm the agent for the applicant. 1995 Midfield Road, which is off campus. So the people that live in the house are the ones developing this. They have a drywall business. This is where they're going to locate their business. So they would, their employees will come in the morning, park, get in their work vehicles, and they go to the job sites, come back in the evening, get in their private vehicles and go home. So it would be for storage of their supplies and for meetings
and that sort of thing with their employees and kind of a base of operations for their business.
About how many employees do they have?
That's a good question. I don't know that offhand.
You know the nature of the business, if when they drive off the lot for the day, are they gone for the day or are they coming back?
It's possible that they could have to come back and resupply,
Okay.
but more than likely, they're gonna be gone for a bulk of the day. So it's not gonna be their personal use or their intended use for the site. It's not gonna be a heavy trafficked business.
And they're not anticipating, you said there's the option of meetings, and one of the concerns that a neighbor brought up was they expressed a desire for a turning lane, this won't be a place where customers are coming
No.
frequently.
No, there will, this would not be a place for customers. When I say meetings, I mean staff meetings.
Gotcha. Okay.
Any other questions? And what, do you know the hours for that business?
So my guess is, if you know construction, they would be coming probably, early in the morning, 7-ish, getting their equipment and leaving for the day to go do their work. It's obviously off-site work, wherever they're hired to install drywall. So. Yeah.
Do we know if there'd be large, like, I'm thinking semi trucks, would those be driving onto the property or?
I do believe they'll have, drywall on site. It's a warehouse.
Yeah.
Where they could have drywall on site. And the frequency of that, I wouldn't know. Yes.
I'm sorry, if I understood it correctly, and maybe I didn't, the access point for parcel 1 was gonna be off, is it Charles?
No.
It's gonna come off Amadon?
Are we talking about the commercial property?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's off Haven.
This was a test. You gotta do better.
I know. I was getting confused right along with Brad as he was talking.
Similarly, would parcel 2 have a entry off of Amadon or would that?
It would be off, yes, it would also be off of the,
pictures.
yeah, the, of the parcel. There we go. No, the layout of the parcels themselves.
Gotcha.
There it is. Yeah, so you can kind of see there's a shared drive. That would be access for both parcels off of one drive.
Oh,
It doesn't show it very well, but it's there. That's the intent.
So
I think
this
it's
is,
already there, isn't it?
yeah, there's a drive there. It's just not showing.
I think that's actually from the site layout, the proposed site layout, so those lines anyway.
Yeah.
There could be a, yeah.
And how many residents are to the south of that,
The south of the property,
on Amadon?
it's single family, one on Amadon, so
Do you know how many there are?
I know.
About 3
Is it?
to, at 31st Street, Bill?
I hate to do this to you, can you go to the area?
I don't know what the street is.
Yeah,
I think it's 31st.
there's 3 lots south of it.
Yeah, there's 3 houses just south of it.
Yeah, there's
Take
3.
it to 31st.
Family,
Yeah.
but this is a
There's
lot
too
of
much
white
information
information
here. There you go.
Help us understand why a single family home is included in a PUD.
It's part of, that's their personal home.
I get it, I understand
Right.
why, but it's already zoned single family, why include it?
Because it's their property. It's personal to them.
So-
They own all of this property, they want.
they want it all together.
So Brad, because we've parceled it, does that become independent properties then for resale?
They can resell any separate lot. So right now, it's 2 lots, but there would have to be a lot split for this lot. And then I would imagine in order to get more duplexes on the southern parcel, they would have to further lot split. Because if it's just one lot, they're just getting one duplex. So if they want more, which I don't know that that's the case.
No, that's kind of just future, that they don't actually in the immediate time frame have plans for that, but that's part of their future development of the property.
The little print we do have proposed of the split, the building runs north and south. There's not a ton of, you're talking about trucks and.
I don't know that, and I don't know that
That
the,
building was just put there to show that there's a warehouse building, right?
yeah, and I don't know that they're necessarily even keeping the drywall here on site, or if they even do
Well,
have
but e-
drywall,
but even, I
but
mean,
they will house their work trucks. their
sure,
work
truck and
van.
trailer, you're still talking 40 feet.
Well, no, I'm not for,
I mean, sheetrock is heavy. Most people have it delivered on the job.
yeah, I don't know that they're necessarily housing drywall on site, but they're housing their work trucks, probably vans with their equipment. I don't think they would have truck and trailer. I don't think this site's conducive to that. It would be their installers' vans and their equipment, their mud, those sorts of things, their tools.
Any other questions? Questions from the public? Okay, anyone want to entertain? a motion? That's okay.
I should have thought of this. I only saw one written comment come in from the neighbors. Did I hear you correctly that there were several?
Yes, and so, we get some before the reports due.
Yeah.
And we include those in the report when they come in. If we get them afterwards, I try to continue to incorporate them, but sometimes reports are given that are not complete, so.
Did you have any of them that were negative?
Yes, so basically, again, considering, concerns about drainage and increased traffic, incorporating it into a business, and duplexes will drastically change the area, not for good. Basically, concerned about the commercial, like I said, a commercial enterprise going in there. Quiet block with longtime residents, noise of a warehouse can be loud and disruptive. Detrimental impact for the housing on the block would be substantial. So, yeah, more or less concerned about the idea of a commercial property going in a residential zone. We do think that it will be a fairly quiet business and that the conditions of approval will mitigate some of those circumstances.
And it's adjacent to their own personal house, so.
Yeah, I hear you guys, and I appreciate it, and you're giving us the best answer, but 20 years from now, who knows?
Related to this being the case of their personal property, where is their business located currently?
I don't know where they're based right now.
Okay.
Scott, you got any comments on this?
No, and we have some, public comment maybe.
I just wanna say, I ditto what Bill says, and that was what was in my mind was, yeah, I get that this is what they wanna do right now, but what could happen on down the road?
And the uses are limited by the PUD. It's not a free for all. There are limitations of what it could be used for.
But it's, you have a church just a little bit across the street to the south, you've got a church just on the same side to the north. I think there's one business a little further north that to me, and then a Dollar General went in right by the big ditch. But other than that, it is all residential right there, and
Eminence and Arterial Street, if you looked at the plan uses, it's literally against the pink, which was the commercial ends at their lot for the future development, so they would just be extending that future growth area by one lot. It already touches the commercial.
Anna, can you scroll to the growth map? It would be down from. That's zoning and then one more.
I mean, it would literally be an extension of that future growth pattern.
And I do have to say positively for the Espartas, I think is the name. I
Yeah.
mean, they've done a beautiful job with that house. I mean, I drive up that way all the time. And a couple of weeks ago, I was really curious about what was going
Yeah.
on, so I specifically drove up Charles to take a look.
And I think you'd see that
It's-
that their building and their landscaping would follow that pattern, so and as far as the traffic and being adjacent to the churches, the hours are going to be wholly separate. This is a Monday through probably Saturday, depending how busy they are.
Is there a way to address the traffic concerns for the residential, for the, and
and it-
then also too.
it is an-
It doesn't just end up being a box.
That it is an
building.
arterial street, so as far as that's concerned, adding one business on an arterial street isn't a major impact. It's not even a residential street, it is an arterial street.
There's a lot of residences on the east side of Hammond go across.
Yeah, I'm just saying though, but the intended use of an arterial street is a heavier traffic street. I know that's not necessarily like what you wanna hear if your house is on it, but that is the intended use of the street.
The same way that there's the gabled roofs for the duplexes, can there be any overlay stuff for the building, that it not just be a metal building? That it be, dressed up a
The
little
board
bit?
can, the board can
Yeah,
make a motion to whatever way they want.
Can recommend those.
You want to entertain a motion?
Has this gone to the planning commission?
Yes.
And what did they do?
They recommended per staff recommendation, with the caveat of decreasing the height of the office warehouse building from 45 to 35 feet.
So I'm hearing some different concerns about the property. I'm just curious. I don't know that this is necessarily where we would want to go, but is it possible to split this up and look at 3 different places, or does it have to be all done all as one planned unit development?
This
is the application.
This is how it was applied for.
I will say that the only person who spoke at the planning commission was representative of the church. And when he understood that there was going to be a screening wall and that the height was going to be brought down to 35 feet, he seemed to be okay with that.
That was his concern, and he was actually the one that asked for the reduced height. And so that was offered to him.
Councilmember Ballard, I did receive a call this afternoon from a resident who lives nearby, and you guys have a summarize of some of the concerns that she expressed over the.
Thank you.
You can have this for the record.
Well, I'll get it off the dime, I guess. I would make a motion that we approve her staff recommendation and include for parcel 2, the overlay condition for duplexes, that the roof be either gable or hip roof design.
It is written that way.
Yeah. I thought I heard that, but I wanted to make sure. You guys are picking up.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Can I make an amendment to have maybe separate entrances for parcel 1 and 2? Can I do that? Do we need to restart?
If it were a split entrance, would you live with that?
Assume that's what it would be if they're gonna. Both parcels use the same driveway.
Yeah, this feels like potentially a hazard, depending on the traffic.
Do you guys, I'm sorry, it may not be appropriate to do this, but I gotta ask you a question. When joint parcels are like that, I'm assuming that there's a minimum drive width that has to be in place to accommodate both parcels.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't deal with the curb cuts. It's really my guess is it's public works engineering. that they do
That
that.
would be their standards, it would have to meet the standards.
That's
set
why I
forth.
can't hear you.
It would have to meet the standards, the width, the minimum width or the maximum width of the driveway would be met by the standards set forth by Public Works. And then, as part of the PUD, there would be an access, because it's a shared drive. There'd be an access easement in there that, codifies the ability for both parcels to use the same drive.
And for emergency vehicles,
Absolutely, yeah.
I think that takes care of it.
But,
You insist on putting that in?
I was right.
but if you have, with parcel one having fencing on the northwest and south, how far does that fence go? If you have a shared driveway? Because then there's a blind spot as you
Sure.
exit onto Hampton.
And I'm sure this, I can't speak to how far, typically it would extend the entire length of the property. My guess is this is not the first time MABCD would have to deal with a situation where there's shared drives for multiple parcels. And so I would imagine that they would know, where to end that wall so that safe egress and ingress could happen for both parcels. I don't work with our building department as much as I did where I came from, so it's kind of hard for me to answer some of those questions. But knowing what I've done in the past in a different place, there's protocol in place for things like that, so.
You still good with your motion and second?
Is that?
Okay. You withdrew the amendment? Okay, all in favor? Any opposed?
Nay.
3 no's? Wanna got that? Hey,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Any updates or reports that anyone would like to share?
Thank you. Have a good one.
Well,
I have a bunch, but go ahead.
the North Riverside, Neighborhood Association meeting is next Monday.
I think I'm speaking.
Oh, good.
Pretty sure. See you later.
It's at the Woodland Methodist Church, 15th and Main. Anyone's welcome, don't have to live in the North Riverside neighborhood.
And you can come listen to me talk some more.
Great.
North Riverside Neighborhood Association meeting, it's at Woodland Church next Monday. I believe it's
6:30. No,
at 7.
I think it's,
It's at 7, yeah. I'm 99% sure I'm speaking. Anybody else have any
Well,
updates?
before, because we won't meet again, we have neighborhood night out on Tuesday, August 6th. I think it's Tuesday.
So I was talking, maybe you can confirm this, I was talking to Lily, or talking to Mayor Wood about this today. That is the national one, but Wichita's having one the following Tuesday on the 13th, is that correct?
So in Wichita, it's gonna
It's
be,
very confusing.
Yeah. But we changed it because we used to do the Wichita one and we never got good attendance. So we're gonna
Okay.
try something a little different.
Election night.
what's your neighborhood?
Benjamin Hills,
Oh,
Post
yeah.
Valley.
That's
Are you guys still doing one?
I think so, I mean, they do it every year.
Okay,
I think it's the
well,
6th.
make sure they know it's on the 6th, which is election night, and not the following one, or if they're gonna do that one, make sure that they let us know too, so that
Okay.
I can try to be it.
Okay.
Any other announcements? Okay, I got a whole bunch. This coming Friday, Delano has a new green space that we designated as a, park, and it's called, the new name is Millwood Park. And we are doing the ribbon cutting and installing the sign, which I'm super excited about that on Friday. And also, we are doing, this is so cool. So do you guys know about how you could rent the kayaks? They have little cages and all that. So that same organization is installing cornhole and ping pong stations in Central Riverside Park on Friday, and we're doing a ribbon cutting for that. So I'm super excited. There'll be ping pong tables and cornhole where you pay like, I don't know, a couple dollars for like 30 minutes at a time. So super excited about that. And then Saturday is Unity in the Community, which will be down, at Colvin and Plainview. I believe that's at 6 o'clock. It's basically just a big celebration to keep the peace in different, parts of the district. So they've already done it in District 1. They're gonna do it, in Plainview this week. I know District 6 is in September, so we'll have more information coming about that.
What is that again?
Unity in Community.
Okay.
And so they'll be meeting at, Fulton in the parking lot over there to get their march on. And then on the 27th, we are having our District 6 coffee. This month, it'll be at Botanica. And we will have Hazel Stabler, which she is our school board representative, and the new executive director for Botanica will be meeting us. So really excited about that. Starts at 9 o'clock at Botanica on the 27th. And then the weekend of July 26th is the NBC tournament starts, so excited about that. And then July 28th, they're bringing back baseball around the clock, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, we just have a ton of really cool stuff going on.
One thing I forgot.
Yep.
July 27th at the Dunbar Theater. There's a documentary on the roots of gospel music in Kansas City.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a fascinating documentary. Dunbar Theater, I think tickets might be $15.
Cool.
Go to Dunbar website.
Awesome. And then our next meeting is August 12th. If anybody needs anything, please let me know. Otherwise,
Is the coffee July 27th?
yes. Well, I said.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Okay, awesome. Thank you all so much for coming. If you need anything, please let me know.
I move we adjourn the meeting.
I second.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much.